Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Hello, everybody. It's Becky Brown, and we are taking your calls today. 1-800-229-3000. We have a special show today featuring Dr. Jill Hubbard, who's an amazing clinical psychologist, and you know that she's got all kinds of wisdom to share. And we also have special guest, Cindi Martin. And Cindi is the author of Choosing Intimacy, Exploring Christ's Model for Mutuality and Deeply Connected Relationships. Cindi is a licensed psychotherapist. She studied theology. She's very smart, specializes in working with women and children and healing from trauma, as well as couples recovering from sexual addiction. She's the founder of Wellspring Counseling Ministry, and she and her husband have been married 41 years. They have an adult daughter, and Jill and Cindi go way back, and Jill wrote the foreword for this book, and Steve Arterburn, our founder, and Steve also did, I got one of those too, Jill. We're holding up the pictures, but Steve endorsed the book. And we are so excited that you're with us today, Cindi. And so, we talked a little bit before the show, and I just want to know, what do you hope that readers will get from the book?
Wow, I really hope that they will get some practical tools as well as sort of a biblical perspective for the way God envisioned intimacy from the very beginning. His highest intention for intimacy. And I hope that they will come away, even from this interview, hopefully understanding a little more about how to define intimacy, and recognize it in their friendships. It's not just about sex. It's about having a deep connection with people, but also recognizing when we don't have it and looking at why we might not be experiencing intimacy and knowing the difference between love and intimacy. I hope to sort of share that a little bit today too, but some real practical ways to really deepen relationships based on Christ's amazing model for that.
Well, and
love
Cindi,
that.
I think that all of us at our very core are flawed in the areas of intimacy. And there is a lot of misconception about what does that look like, right? A lot of times it's I think it's both men and women, but sometimes you say to a man that there needs to be more intimacy, right? And all he thinks about is sex, or he's a deer in headlights and doesn't really know what that means when his wife asks for that.
One of the things that Cindi and I, we were talking about was the thing that a lot of times people don't recognize what intimacy really means, going along with what you're saying, Jill. But I mean, even recognizing when we aren't able to tell another person that, what we feel like inside, we're not even aware of it ourselves. And I know, Cindi, you've done some incredible work helping people discover that as well. And it's got a biblical basis, which I love so much. And I know that that's also a very important part of our intimate journey, is even with our relationship with Jesus, right?
Absolutely. And we often hear, we need a personal relationship with Christ, but we don't often understand, well, how do you actually cultivate that? And does the Lord really want to know all about my most intimate thoughts, especially when they're feeling pretty ugly? And
I love it.
Yeah, he does. He does want to know.
I love it. He does want to know. And we want to know what is on the minds and the hearts of you listeners about intimacy or relationships. Cindi's here. Jill's here. We're going to answer your questions. You can call us 1-800-229-3000. We've got some open lines, but I know that you want to grow in your journey as well as your relationship. So we're here for you today. So give us a call, 1-800-229-3000. We'll be back right after this.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books, or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to intimacy in marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy in Marriage workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy in Marriage Weekend is October 17th to the 19th in Dallas, Texas. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. It's Becky Brown with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Cindi Martin, who is a psychotherapist as well as the author of Choosing Intimacy, Exploring Christ's Model for Mutuality and Deeper Relationships. And, you know, Cindi, before we went to the break, you were talking about how important it is for us to grow and nurture our relationship with Christ. And that's a big model for even our personal relationships as well. And so before we go to the calls, and we're getting some calls in, what is the biggest impairment to intimacy that you have discovered?
Wow, that's a great question. I think one of the biggest barriers to intimacy, and it's part one and part two. Part one is that we really don't know ourselves. We don't study the landscape of our spiritual, emotional, intellectual, and even our behavior in relationship to people. And then second of all, when we want a relationship and we run into hurts and somebody just hurts, injures, we want to go immediately to hide and blame. And usually we do one of those two. It's sort of in that fight-flight realm where we feel that pain and we go into fight-flight. Well, instead of taking personal responsibility and exploring, well, what's going on with me so that I can understand myself, it's so much easier to attack others and attack ourselves, because blaming self and not really feeling what is going on, recognizing what we are truly needing and spiritualizing away what we're needing. That's another big barrier. But I would say those together are some of the biggest barriers to intimacy that I see.
Yeah, I love just that topic that you just said about spiritualizing away, because sometimes we hear that with callers. They'll express, I've given it to Jesus, and it's like, well, okay, but what are you supposed to be doing with this? And both are true. Both are part of the journey to understanding that connection. But I love what you're talking about. Let's take a call real quick. We're going to talk to Bonnie, who's calling us from Sacramento. She listens on the app. Hello, Bonnie. I hope you're doing well today.
Hi.
How can we help you?
Hi. I just wanted to say I went to the Restore back in May in Texas. I've been married 40 years. He's in counseling now. I cut mine just due to finances. And I was just doing my step study, and I came across, I need some advice. And so we keep running into kind of the same hiccup. One of the things they taught us there was, to look at their fruits, and I keep coming against, I forgot, he forgot to tell me something or admit something or take care of something, the recent thing that happened was that I found something on his phone, and he didn't tell me about it. And I, keep telling him that I need to build trust for us. And so the other thing is he waits for me to do things. If we both know we need to talk about something, it's always me that has to bring it up. And it just makes me feel very resentful. And so we're both doing step studies. We're active in that. But just little things like he forgot to go to the men's meeting, or, he's inconsistent. And so we're in separate bedrooms right now, even though we pray together, we do stuff, but I just feel stuck.
Well, and Bonnie, you brought up a really key word there. He's inconsistent, because trust is built through consistency. And so that's what's lacking there, for you to feel more secure. And it sounds like he's very conflict avoidant. And so he's only, willing to talk when it's presented to him. It's hard for him to initiate.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those, I think everybody knows that our Restore workshop is for women who have been hurt by infidelity or a lack of sexual integrity. So I'm assuming.
Well, and I'm wondering, Bonnie, what kind of work has he done? Has he gone to Every Man's Battle?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
So the thing that happened many, many years ago, and what made me go to Restore now was because I was just realizing that I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling healed, and I still have all these triggers. And so I went thinking they're going to tell me, be a better good Christian wife and stuff, which, I've heard throughout my journey is like, oh, he's such a good guy, and he is, and he's very, outgoing. And so that's what I constantly heard was like, just kind of a try harder, pray more and that kind of thing. So he went to Every Man's Battle after he admitted it to me many, many years ago.
Okay.
But I don't know that it did a lot for him, just because of he's very, he's really great with people. And so, like, when he wanted me to go with him, so I stayed in another room. They were separate because it was, quite far from us. And then, after the conference and everybody was meeting each other, I heard a lot of, like, your husband's a really good man. Like, it sounded like they were blaming me for something. And I was like, I saw temporary changes, but nothing that stuck.
Well, Bonnie, I know that you didn't hear at Restore, be a good Christian wife, because we don't teach that. You know that, right?
Oh, man,
and that's
if you're there, you're already a good Christian wife, right?
There you go.
Absolutely.
But, Cindi, this is what we're talking about. I know that you work with couples who have experienced betrayal and those wounds that come up. So how can we help Bonnie with, next steps, especially if her guy he shows up real pleasant to everybody, but she's feeling that disconnect? That's what you can hear in her question.
Yes, absolutely. I'm wondering, Bonnie, when do you feel loved by him? When do you feel close to him? Do you feel that he shares himself in any way that is meaningful right now?
There's many times when he does. I feel connected to him when I feel like he's being very honest and humble, and he admits his faults. Right now, I feel like he kind of went into victim mode. He's revisiting stuff from his past, which is good because he's uncovering a lot of stuff. But I think that kind of now he's like in victim mode, and so I don't see that in him right now.
He's not sharing. Is that what you're saying? He's not sharing right now. And when he goes into victim mode, he shuts down?
Yeah, he's not. It's not so much the humility, like he'll like before he'll even say like, I'm feeling weak right now, and I grab his hand, like that makes me feel so secure, like let's pray right now, if he tells me that, because he's opening up. But I haven't got that in a while, that kind of behavior.
Absolutely. And is he aware of like I heard you when you were talking to Jill mentioning that, he forgets stuff a lot, and Jill was giving you some pointers about, it sounds pretty avoidant. Do you notice that he is more aware after being in the step study, doing some work? when do you notice that maybe he is becoming more aware of what's going on with him, that he forgets things all the time?
When does he become more aware? Is that what your question was?
Do you know? Yeah. Do you notice that he's becoming more aware, or is he just completely shut down? He doesn't know.
He seems to turn off and on a lot. Like he'll go to the step study if it was like really spoke to him, or something opened up. Then he seems more aware. Mm-hmm. But then just going through life and through the week or whatever, he won't set reminders. He'll just forget. He'll forget to go to the men's meeting. He'll forget to call a sponsor when he feels weak. He just forget.
So I think, Bonnie,
that's a lot of loss.
Yeah,
for you.
It is. And all behavior has meaning, Bonnie. And sometimes we, because of our own hurt, can interpret the meaning to be, okay, he's not trustworthy, he's hiding from me. All of our triggers come up. But if you also look at it from maybe what he is going through, and I know you've probably done that a lot, is that this sounds like he can barely bear it. That it is so hard for him to tolerate. Like you said, he's on and off. So when it's in his face, okay, I'm hearing it, but as soon as I leave, I have to shut down. And so this is why it's so important for him to have numerous anchors through the week, the group, the therapy, the step study, because it's just unbearable. And a lot of times what we try to get people to do is, can you tolerate those feelings for 30 seconds longer, and then for a minute longer before you shut it down? And I'm wondering if, coming alongside of him at times, you could maybe even talk about that. It seems like you're forgetting a lot. Has this been really hard for you to tolerate? Is what you're learning about yourself really hard for you to bear or contain? And maybe, right, and open up that conversation. I know that it would be wonderful if he brought everything to you, but his behavior is also speaking. So what is the message? So, I'm wondering, you're forgetting. That seems odd to me. I'm wondering what that means. Do you have any ideas? And could it be this?
I also think, Bonnie, along the same lines as what Jill's saying, is to stay connected with how you feel, because a lot of times what happens is they forget, but then you will forget and you'll be like, well, it was just one. And then over time it starts to add up. And is that kind of what's been happening for you guys, that it just is adding up, and it's, And you don't want to be his security guard, but it's so... it's so frustrating, because it's like, well, is this important to you, or is this me making you go? Where is the drive to really get to the core? When people are working recovery, there's a freedom that comes with that, not an obligation, and that's where you want to go.
Well, and I think if you go ahead.
Oh, just briefly, I was thinking about the fact that we can invite someone into intimacy, but we can't demand it. And if they can't or won't go there with us, that's very painful. And I wonder, you were saying you were feeling stuck. And so one of the things that I've noticed when I'm feeling stuck and when clients are feeling stuck, sometimes there is grief that we have not yet experienced around the loss of not who we want them to be, need them to be for us right at this moment. And if we don't do the work of grieving that loss in the moment, and maybe it's not forever, and maybe it's not even going to take longer than a few days before you can come together again and maybe hear more from him and where he is learning. But what do you do in the in-between time? What do you do, right? You continue to invite, but you do this work of grieving this loss, and that's real. That is real pain. And so I just wanted to mention that relationship between being stuck and not having maybe grieved these little losses. It's not a death, but it's still a loss.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right.
For
That
sure.
disappointment is a grief. I love that. Thank you, Bonnie, for calling. We're going to send you a copy of Cindy's book, Choosing Intimacy. I got it right in front of, if you're watching on YouTube. And we'll be praying for this situation because we love the opportunity to disrupt old habits and create new ones. And if we don't venture into those unknown risks of, why is this happening? How do I feel about this? We never know what's going to be on the other side. We're taking your calls, 1-800-229-3000, talking with Cindi Martin and Dr. Jill Hubbard. Maybe you've got a struggle in a relationship today that you just need clarity. We want to help you, and we can. We've been helping people for 40 years, and we're not going to stop now. We're going to go to the calls right after this break, 1-800-229-3000. Nobody gets married thinking that they're going to get divorced, yet there are so many people that experience divorce. How do we get through it? It can feel like it's the end of your story, but we also know that life goes on. So how do we get the healing that we need?
The Moving Forward Hope After Divorce webinar is Thursday evening, October 16th.
The live session will offer recovery tips like how to process grief in a healthy biblical way, practical steps for emotional healing after divorce, how to set healthy boundaries. This session is for anyone who's separated, divorced, or still navigating the long-term impact of divorce. Maybe you've been divorced for many years and you're still holding on to that resentment.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
It's not information, it's an invitation to heal, to hope, to rebuild, to trust that God has more for your story.
Start your new chapter today. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-639-5433. Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are talking with Cindi Martin. She is the author of Choosing Intimacy, Exploring Christ's Model for Mutuality and Deeper Relationships. You can get a copy at Amazon, as well as you could get a free audio chapter of the book at wellspringcounselingministries.org. You just click on the Contact Us and subscribe, and you'll be sent a link. We are talking about intimacy because it is it can be such a great part of relationships, but it also can be the hardest thing for people to understand and connect, not only with themselves, but with each other. And like you said earlier, Cindi, with Jesus himself. I want to go back to the calls, and we're going to talk with Jan, who's calling us from New Jersey, listens on Sirius XM. Hello, Jan. How can we help you today?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I have a birthday coming up, and I accidentally logged on to my husband's Amazon account and saw what he ordered for my birthday for me, gifts. And it's quite obvious that after nearly 50 years of marriage that he doesn't know me very well. And I'm torn between being honest and letting him know that I saw that and that I hope he decides to return them, or my other the other part of me just wants to be grateful and say thank you.
You have feelings about that, don't you, Jan?
Yeah.
I can hear it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cindy,
Yeah,
how would you help her?
I'm angry. What? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You're angry. Tell us more.
I'm angry because the gift, I mean, it's a coffee mug and a ball cap. I have 1,000 coffee mugs and a few favorites that I use every day. And I never wear a ball cap except to go to a ball game, and it's not baseball season anymore, at least not for my teams. And
are you sure they're for you?
They say things like, oh, you know, this is what 70 looks like, and this is what happened in 1955, the year I was born. Okay. And I'm okay with being 70, and I didn't want to make a big deal of it, but, you know, people have been encouraging me to have some kind of celebration, so I decided to, but it's on my terms. And
well, Jan,
sorry, what?
I was just going to say, let's get some conversation going. Cindy, how would you address this for Jan to, you know, get a little bit of relief on this anger or just understanding?
Yes. Well, first of all, I think it's really excellent that you are aware that you're angry and probably disappointed, I can imagine, after 50 years. I mean, you said something so important. You said, after 50 years, he does not know me, doesn't know that this is not the thing that delights me and that I desire. And so I think first and foremost for your ability to be honest about that. And I hear you saying, you know, I want to be grateful. I hear you saying there's the other part of me that really wants to let him know that this was hurtful and disappointing. And I wonder if it's possible to do both. Are you feeling right now, do you have a lot of anger right now? Does it feel more angry or more hurt, or is it subsiding? Where are you right now?
I think I'm more hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, this is an opportunity for intimacy, but it's also painful. Have you had this conversation with him before, over 50 years?
Well, I feel like I have. Like, for example, he's gotten me jewelry in the past, which that to me, that's, I guess, gifts are not my love language. Gifts like that, and this wasn't when we first met that he got me jewelry, and he doesn't realize that I don't wear silver. I wear gold. I always wear gold, and he's gotten me jewelry that's silver, and it's I don't know. It's like something pops up on his computer or on his phone, and he says, "Oh, that's nice. Jan would like that," and he'll order it, not realizing how thoughtless that is, for one thing, and that
so he doesn't ask you. He doesn't ask you what you like for jewelry.
No, not at all. And I've said, you know, honey, I don't wear silver jewelry. I don't.
So not feeling heard, and all these years of trying to. I'm wondering though, how direct are you? I'm hearing a little bit of indirectness, and you're trying to be very nice and kind.
Well,
I mean,
and it's been going on for 50 years.
That's right. Yeah. Hold that thought, Jan.
Whether or not he's risky.
Right. Hold on, Jan. We're going to take a quick break, and we do want to know, how long has this indirectness been going on? And you know, we can get into routines. You said that this started way early on, so we want to disrupt that and start a new path forward, so that you know, this next decade will be one of the best ones yet. We're going to take a break. We're going to continue taking calls, 1-800-229-3000. You're listening to New Life.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Dallas, Texas, November 7th through the 9th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We have a special guest today, Cindi Martin, and she is a psychotherapist. She wrote a book called Choosing Intimacy, and we're talking with Jan, who has been married 50 years, going to celebrate the big 70th birthday, and a little disappointed with the way that her husband, over the years, not just this birthday, but over the years, has just missed the mark when it comes to gift giving. And before we went to the break, Cindi and Jill, you both jumped on the fact that this is bigger than gifts. This is a disconnection of really in a relationship decades long. And, you know, how do we make a new routine when this has been so entrenched? Cindi, I want to start with you. How can Jan disrupt this disconnection?
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, Jan, because you really have said it so beautifully in his not knowing your love language. And at this stage, I mean, there's got to be a lot of pain around that. But I want to give you my definition of intimacy. This is the short one. I've got a long one and a short one. And it is a deep, abiding confidence that someone knows you, cares for you, desires you, and delights in your presence. And we're talking about a knowing that goes deeper than just knowing the facts about you or what you like to eat for dinner. But it's still important. And you're saying, I'd like to be known by my husband in terms of what I like and dislike, because that is actually the first stage of intimacy. And if you do get my book, I talk about there's developmental stages where we start at a more superficial level and move into those deeper regions of our soul, our deep feelings. And I think that one of the ways to disrupt this is perhaps to go to him and share with him a definition of intimacy and what it means to you to be known and how much you want to know him, because something's also going on with him. The reason that he keeps getting you these things. And then, of course, there's the other piece, and I'll let Jill maybe address that, just around how to really become much more confident in how you and what you share with him quite directly. And, of course, you know, this is communication and being able to say, this is really how I feel. when this happens, I feel, I don't know, I would feel a little bit invisible. I would feel not seen and not heard. And that would create in me a great deal of distance. And I want closeness. And this is creating, it may be a small thing in his mind, but it sounds like it's huge because you want to be known. And that is the essence. God knows us intimately, and he wants us to know him intimately. And he loves the sharing to go two ways. And it just seems like when it comes to this, small example, it's maybe a microcosm of a bigger issue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so, Jan. We teach people how to treat us. And so when you start early on in marriage and you kind of start on a path and there aren't those intimate conversations, well, then you set a precedence. And then over time, looking back and being at a later stage of life, I hear your huge disappointment. And I'm wondering, instead of addressing, I saw the Amazon gifts, and because we don't know, maybe that's just a funny part of your gift and he's got something else going on. But nonetheless, maybe to say, at 70 years old and nearly 50 years married, I'm thinking this birthday, what I really want is kind of what Cindi was saying, is a greater relationship with you. And I got this book, and I'm wondering if you would go through this book, because I think we both struggle with knowing how to be intimate. And so I find that I look for little things that will speak volumes to me about how you feel about me or whether you know me or not. And I think then I end up getting hurt. And
I love that.
Instead of, could we just make it a project? So for my birthday, and Jan, I don't know what your love language is, but you might tell him. But for my birthday, could we set aside an hour a week to work on this for the next year?
I love
Would
that.
you be willing?
I love that.
That would be the greatest gift to me. Or add in, what would be a gift? At 70, like I'm really reflecting on my life, this would be such a great gift to me.
I love that. We're going to send you a copy of this book, Jan. I also want to invite you, maybe your husband will join you and you guys can go to our Intimacy in Marriage intensive this weekend. It would be, I just was talking to somebody the other day, they've been married 61 years and they went.
Yes.
It is never too late.
Oh, that would be
I love that
such
idea
a great
too, Jill.
jumpstart.
Such a great gift. I love that. Thank you, Jan, for calling. And we'll be praying that there will be a new path made as a result of having a 70th birthday.
Well, and can I just say, when we want change, we have to reflect on our own participation and why things are this way. And I think Cindi was saying that. And so own that, because when you approach someone with humility, they're much more receptive.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all learning, and I love that. I love that. Well, we've always been about life change here at New Life, and we exist because God provides through giving throughout all of our donors, through the people who are listening, and we're just amazed at how God speaks to you to give, to support, so that people can hear wisdom like you're hearing today. I want to encourage you, make a gift today. Generosity can change people's lives. We've seen it for over 40 years. And it's not really about the money, although the money helps us do what we do. It's really about life change. And so if you can give any amount today, you can go to newlife.com, click on donate, or you can text the letters NLM, like New Life Ministries, to 28950. I just really encourage you to be part of what God's doing through New Life, and we're going to continue to help you along your journey, and you can help others as well. And thank you in advance for any gift that you give. We're going to go back to the calls, and we're going to talk with Dee, who's calling us from Palm Bay, Florida, listens on WEJF. Hello, Dee. Thanks for calling. How can we help you today?
So me and my wife's been going through a difficult time. We've been separated for about 3 months now, and I'm legally not able to contact her. So we're kind of, life's been coming at us hard here lately. She she feels I've been disloyal to her in multiple ways, and I'm just stuck in a spot where I can't do anything at this point.
Mm-hmm. How long have you guys been married, Dee?
We have been married for 5 years, together for 12.
Okay, and has there been like a restraining order when you say you're not allowed to touch her? Or talk to
Yes,
her?
ma'am.
What's that about?
Right now,
Okay.
right now there is
Right.
one on me.
Okay, has there been violence?
There was violence, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And then what kind of counseling have you or both of you done?
Oh, we were going to marriage counseling together, and I have continued my treatment, and she's continued it as well with the same counselor, but we're not able to do it together now. And my counselor, she's been talking with me about, she's a psychologist, about my anger and about the boundaries that are set, and just I'm lost right now.
Okay, all right. We can hear your pain. Cindy, how would you begin to help Dee?
Well, I have a question for you, Dee. What do you think is your legitimate need under the anger that leads to violence?
I'm not sure what you're asking exactly.
I know. It's a hard one. Many of us don't know what is going on with us when we become angry. And we don't really explore, okay, what is the legitimate need I have? So the anger that leads to violence, obviously, that behavior is going to crush intimacy. It's not going to do anything. But when you feel angry, there is a need. And I'm always thinking of, I'm just going to give you the example of God talking to Cain. And remember when Cain and Abel brought their offering before God, and God accepted Abel's, but not Cain. And Cain got really ticked off. He was angry. And what I love about this is that God goes to him and says, Cain, why are you angry? Now, he wasn't accusing Cain, like, why are you angry? You're not allowed to be angry. God genuinely cared and wanted to start a conversation. And I mean, I can imagine if I were Cain, I might have said, well, you like my brother better than me.
Hold that thought.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery. And one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We've had a great show today with Cindi Martin, and we're talking about intimacy. And right now we're talking with Dee, who he and his wife have been married for 5 years. They've been together for 12. They were separated for 3 months. And just the difficulty that anger poses. And right when we were going to the break, Cindi, you had us on a cliffhanger where, God is talking to Cain about his anger. And so I would love for you to finish that thought, and we'll continue on with Dee and get some.
Sure, thank you. So Dee, if you're thinking about Cain and God having this really intimate conversation about his anger, what do you think that his legitimate need was from God? What was he really needing from the Lord that was underneath his anger?
Shown acknowledgement that, to show that
beautiful.
He was equal to his brother.
Okay, excellent. So he was needing that acknowledgement, and he was needing that approval. But what's interesting in that conversation between God and Cain is that Cain never answered the question. He never said what he was angry about. And do you know the rest of the story?
Little bit, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if you want to read it, it's a fascinating story about anger management, in my mind, in the lack thereof, because he didn't answer God's question. He didn't understand what he was angry about. He didn't know his legitimate need, and that's really important, that when you get angry at your wife, there's probably a legitimate need that you have underneath that, but when it doesn't get met, your reaction is to escalate that anger, and that's, that is what happened with Cain. It escalated, and he took all of his anger out on his brother and ended up killing his brother. And of course, this puts a huge barrier between God and Cain, but it's never too much because God can handle it. I mean, it's horrendous, and of course, there's no excuse, but there is an explanation, and we have to learn to understand before we can really. I mean, we can use anger management tools and take a break and all that, but if we don't understand what's actually fueling it, the fire that's fueling it, we're going to be stuck.
That's so true. The other part of that too, Cindi and Jill and Dee, is we believe that no anger is the answer to anger. And that's not the answer. Right? That's not the answer. Jill, what would you
We
add
can definitely have anger, but
yes,
right, we are told to be angry and sin not. And so I love, Cindi, I love that application. Dee, when you find yourself escalating, that is your signal that you're not feeling heard, and that legitimate need is continuing to not be met. So the escalation is an attempt to be heard and get her to understand, right? Now, I'm aware that there's always two people in this, and she could be poking at you. And so then the focus is on the content instead of what's really happening for you. And that's why we do the timeouts and things like that, to disrupt the volatility so you can reflect and have a moment to reflect on what's happening inside of you. But right now, you've been separated 3 months. You can't even contact her. You're in therapy. So I think there needs to be a lot of work done on this legitimate need. Because for a lot of people, especially men, anger's an easy emotion. Like whatever they're feeling, it goes to anger. Okay? They're scared, they're mad, they're sad. But so anger's easy for you. I think hurt and sadness, grief, fear, those kinds of emotions would be good to explore, right? Are you afraid she doesn't care about you? She doesn't value you? And where have you felt that before?
Here lately, the main issue that we've been having is, like you're saying, she thinks I've cheated, And she thinks I'm trying to actively ruin her life, which is 110,000% not correct. Neither one of them.
Okay, so she's got her own stuff going on, her own fears that she's hyper-vigilantly looking at in you. Are you going to cheat on me? Okay, you probably already have. So I would be, curious about her past, but that's for her.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm trying, again, I'm paying for the counseling for her. I'm trying everything that I can to just help us both at this point.
Yeah. Cindy, were you going to say something?
The one question hold on. I want to ask Dee, is there a reason that she's thinking that you've been unfaithful or there has been a break in trust?
I
let's just
have
clarify
never been unfaithful towards her. There has been some coincidences that she's automatically drawing lines and will not accept a word that I say.
Okay. All right. That's some of her own work. We just got a couple minutes, but Cindy, how would you help Dee in this situation?
I think the most important thing for you, Dee, is to begin to really take full responsibility for what's going on in you. Because you know this, you can't control her or what she says to you, but you can control what's going on in terms of your behavior when you feel angry, and really understanding because it sounds like that incident was the thing that caused you guys to separate. Is that correct? Am I understanding that right?
Panic and anxiety because I can't get my point across. I can't be heard.
Okay, you're not feeling heard, and that was what Jill was saying. That's so important. And so what you do with that, because I kind of sense that there could be a little bit of the blame game going on where she's blaming you and you're blaming her, and that is a recipe for stuckness that will just not end. So you may not see any changes in her, but you can begin to see changes in yourself as you and God start to take full responsibility for how do you let the Lord nurture your heart when you're feeling unheard? What do you do with that so that who are the people who can hear you when she can't hear you? So I think, I don't know how much of your time is spent thinking about what she's done or hasn't done or is doing, and I would say the same to her, by the way, but that is the wrong focus if healing is going to be coming to your relationship and to each of you individually.
Right, and often we each need to listen first. Somebody has to be the listener, and if we immediately jump to defend ourselves, then neither person is being fully heard. So when you listen and hear another, again, then they're more apt to be willing to hear you.
I love it. We're going to send you a copy of Choosing Intimacy, Cindy's book, Exploring Christ's Model for Mutuality and Deeper Relationships. And we're grateful that you called, Dee. We'll be praying for the situation. We've got couples that'll be going to our intimacy and marriage that are in very similar situations where, people can't hear each other. And, you guys have been together a long time, Dee. We want to disrupt this. If there's a chance for, reunion, it's going to be because it's healthy and not because we're going to drag the past with us. But we're grateful that you called. And it is hard. Cindy, I know that the work that you are doing here is changing people's lives. So we're grateful that you joined us today. Callers, we are going to have a little extended conversation with Cindy that someday you might hear. But in the meantime, if you need a copy, go to Amazon, or if you need help, call us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We are here for you. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Jill.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.